I'm 59 years old and I don't have enough money put away to retire. Not I'm a little behind, not I need to catch up over the next few years. I mean, the number that's supposed to be there, it's not there. If you're somewhere in your 50s or 60s and that sentence landed somewhere in your chest, then you already know what I'm about to say isn't coming from a financial planner. I'm not standing on the other side of this telling you how I made it out. I'm in it right now this year. I've spent 9 years sitting across from men in the hardest stretches of their lives. And the one thing I know for certain is that nobody wants advice from a man who's never been where they are. So I'm going to tell you where I am, what I did that cost me, and what I'm doing about it at 59. This isn't a video about how I got here. It's about what I'm doing about it. I have to tell you something first, though, because if I don't, everything after this is going to sound like advice from a man who never had to learn it the expensive way. I had money, real money, the kind of number that makes you feel like you finally are going to be okay, like you've made it to the top, like you can take care of yourself for the rest of your life. Then a business I owned hit a crisis, and I did what I guess most of you would do. I reached for that money and I put it back in to keep things alive just long enough to get through. And it didn't get better. It got worse. And all of it, every dollar of it was gone. I'm not going to give you the details of that business. That's not what this is about. And the details don't change anything for you. Here's what matters. I didn't lose that money doing something stupid. I lost it doing something responsible. I put my own savings into my own company to save it. And if you ask 100 men and 90 of them they'd tell you that that's the right call. The mistake wasn't spending it. The mistake was that I could actually reach that money. Almost everything you'll hear about retirement savings comes down to two words. It's save more. Here's the problem with me telling you that. I never actually did. I want to be honest about how I had that money because it matters more than the fact I lost it. And I didn't build it a percentage at a time out of a paycheck. Something went well for me on a few occasions, and money came in, and it was for a stretch of several years, several times. I made more than I spent. That's it. That's the whole discipline that I've carried through my life. I look like a man who was doing it right. I was a man having a good run on multiple occasions, but a good run isn't a habit. It doesn't teach you anything. It just gives you something to lose, and I lost it. So when the good reason came, I had nothing underneath me to say no with. The money that's supposed to be your future has to be untouchable, even by a good reason, even by your own business, even by a crisis that is completely real, even when reaching for it is the responsible looking move in the room. The emergency fund cannot be the bridge loan. The day you let those be the same account is the day you don't have an emergency fund anymore. You have working capital with a nice name on it. That's what mine was, and I didn't know it until I needed it to be something else. I know how that sounds, but there is a difference between money that protects your future and money that rescues your present. And if one account is doing both jobs, it is only doing one. Except none of that matters if there's nothing coming in. So let's talk about income. I love making these videos. I made hundreds of them. I love the cameras. I love the writing. I love the part where somebody tells me something landed. And if I could choose how I spend the next 20 years, this would be it. And it does not pay me an income I can live on. Not right now. Maybe not for a long time. Maybe not ever. I don't know. And neither does anyone who tells you they do. I'm not telling you that to complain about it. I'm telling you because a lot of men my age are sitting on something they love and quietly waiting for it to turn into a living. At 30, you can wait. You got time to be wrong. At 59, waiting is a decision, and it's usually the wrong one. That's not quitting on the thing you love. I didn't quit. You're watching me not quit. It's arithmetic. If any of this is landing, subscribe because there's a free set of questions at lifechangingquestions.com that I use on myself when I'm avoiding a decision. So I went and got something that pays. At 59 years old, I started a business. I own 100% of it. The corporation's in my name. Every dollar risk is in my name. And as I sit here talking to you, it has not made $1. But here's the part I actually want you to hear, and it isn't the brave part. I didn't learn something new. I didn't reinvent myself at 59. I took a skill I've had in my hands for 30 years, and I pointed it at something nobody had bothered to point it at. There's a kind of business that happens in every town in America, every weekend, completely ordinary, and every single person doing it presents it the same way as everybody else. Same look, same feel, same nothing. I looked at that and I could see something different in it. Not a better version of what they're doing, a different thing entirely. Something with character, something people would want to drive to. That's the whole insight. I didn't have to become someone else. And you have one too. 30 or 40 years of doing something has left something in your hands. And I'd bet money you stopped counting it as valuable a long time ago. Because to you, it's just what you know how to do. And that's not nothing. That might be the one asset you've got that nobody can take from you. But here's the part I think I finally got right this time. The first time around, I built a business that needed me. Every decision, every problem, every day, me. And when it went down, it took everything I had with it because I was standing inside of it. A business that requires you forever, that's not a business. It's a job you gave yourself. And you have to work that job until you physically can't. At 59, I can't afford another job. So this one is being built from the first day to run without me. Systems instead of heroics. Other people's hands on the daily work as fast as I can get them there. That's not laziness. That's the entire point. If it only works when I'm standing in it, then I haven't built an asset. I built a treadmill. And an asset is exactly what you need for the day you can't hustle anymore. And when it does start producing, that's where most of this falls apart for people. I watch this happen over and over. A man in his 50s or 60s is in trouble. He's honest about it publicly, and people respond because people are good and because his story is real. Money shows up, sometimes fast, and a year later, he's back where he started. I want to be careful here because it would be easy to sound like I'm above that. I'm not. I already told you money showed up for me once, and I watched it drain right back out. I've been the man who got relief and mistook it for a solution. Here's why it happens. The money changed, and nothing underneath that money changed. No habit was built. Nothing was made untouchable. It was just a good run with a different name on it. And a windfall doesn't fix a hole. It fills it once. So this is the rule I'm holding to now, and I ask you to hold it with me. When cash comes in, a percentage of it stops moving immediately. Emergency first, then retirement, and that money does not get touched. Not for the crisis, not for the opportunity, not for the good reason. That money isn't for now. That money is for the day you can no longer hustle. And that day is coming for me. It's coming for you too. I'm 59. I don't have this figured out. I've got a business that hasn't made $1, a channel that doesn't pay me yet, and a savings account I'm still climbing back toward. And I'm not done. But you're not done either. Nobody's done until they're laid to rest. There's still road, so let's go get it one day better.